Zootopia 2. I cannot wait for this film coming out November 26th.
Wait. What's this over here?
Yeah.
What is this, Christian? What are you doing? Oh, these are sloth.
Oh.
70s.
I was like, what?
I was like, man, he's really got something to say.
What's up and welcome back to Eat Sleep Nerd. In this video, we're going to be trying to predict all of the Rotten Tomatoes scores for this year's biggest movies. I'm your dorky DJ, Corey Winter. Joining me here for this prediction episode, we have Jason Summer.
Kneel before Zod.
All right. Cynthia Taylor.
Howdy.
Josh Venter.
What's up?
And Christian James.
I am Iron Man.
I'm pretty sure the only one of those that's coming out this year is Superman, but General Zod's not going to be in that.
No.
So.
Well, I mean,
that we know of.
Right. So yes, I'm sure you're going to predict how this goes because we're going to be looking at every single one of these top 50 movies coming out this year, the biggest ones, whether it's box office or critic scores, and we're going to be seeing if we can guess what the Rotten Tomatoes critic score is going to be for that movie. So we're going to be looking at the movie posters, the synopses, who's in the movie, maybe who directed it, and we're going to see what you guys think the critics are going to think of this on Rotten Tomatoes, okay? Now, as a reminder of how Rotten Tomatoes works.
It's bad.
It
Feels targeted.
It's not the average score that critics give it. It's the amount of people, or the percentage of people, that think it's a good movie. So if it's a 90% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, that means 90% of critics thought it was a good movie. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Jace.
Right. So we have 50 movies to get through.
It sounds like it should be a good system. Like on paper, it sounds like it should be good.
Sure.
It's not. It's just not good. And that's because critics and people don't agree. People who went to film school and people who watch movies don't agree.
Yeah, we've talked about it multiple times in this channel on different episodes where it's glaring how the critic scores don't line up with the audience scores. I think there was several last year that we watched where it's just like, what are the critics watching? Because it's not what the audience saw.
So I was just thinking about a comment that we had on one of our posts where somebody claimed to be a film student.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, and they were not only were they so wrong on how they perceived and worked into their statement, but they sounded so pretentious.
Yeah.
So
an excellent film critic.
Yeah, an excellent film critic. Yeah, exactly. So
to be clear, when I'm playing this game, I'm going to be giving what I think the critics are going to say.
Yes.
It does not reflect what
right.
I think the movie is going to be.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So just to clarify that, we're not saying this is how good we think the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Which our scores usually line up pretty well with Metacritic.
Yeah.
Which I think is a more honest scoring system because it takes everyone's opinion into account.
But that's not what we're doing because that's not as fun.
No, it's not as fun. So we're going to try to.
All right. So this is critic ratings. What we think.
Correct.
We're
guessing
not viewer ratings.
We are guessing critic ratings.
Now,
yes.
Does Rotten Tomatoes do viewer ratings as well?
They do, but that's not the score they publish.
Yeah.
They publish the critic score.
Okay. Cool. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
And just for funsies, we're going to put this on a Tiermaker board just so at the end of this we can, have a little visual aid of where we think all these movies are going to land. So at the end of this, if we think a bunch of movies are going to be 90 and above, then we'll see that right there. So you guys ready for this? We got 50 movies to get through.
Let's do it, baby.
Do it.
That's a lot of movies.
Minute
I
apiece.
see one that they should have just left on the writing.
Already.
Table.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
All right, so first up is Flight Risk. We're going to go month by month. So we're going to start with the January movies, then move into February, etc.
Okay. So this is in release order, roughly.
Roughly release order, yes.
Okay.
So are we doing like round table or just spitting it out or what?
Just spit it out.
30.
Well, all right. So Flight Risk. This is the upcoming Mark Wahlberg movie. It's hitting theaters January 24th. Do you guys want the synopses for this?
Sure.
Go for it.
A U.S. Marshal escorts a government witness to trial after he is accused of getting involved with the mob boss, only to discover that the pilot who is transporting them is also a hitman that had been sent to assassinate the informant. After they subdue him, they're forced to fly together after discovering that there are others attempting to eliminate them. So Mark Wahlberg's in this, Topher Grace, and Michelle Dockery. And
more importantly, something I just realized.
I just saw this too.
Directed by
Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Which, regardless of what you think as a person, is a phenomenal director and a pretty darn great actor, too.
Bro, Hacksaw Ridge, tears.
Dude, all of them.
I didn't like Apocalypto.
Apocalypto was okay.
Hey, I was okay.
That's for a specific person.
No, what was it? We Were Soldiers. Excellent war movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And of course, Braveheart.
Yeah, classic.
But still, I saw the trailer for this.
It gave away the whole movie.
Well, not only that,
Which
it
I hate
doesn't
that.
look like a good premise for a movie for me. Honestly. So 30. That 30% is what I'm going to
I don't know. I'm
It's-
going higher, bro. I'm feeling like Mel Gibson knows how to pick them.
Yeah.
Like he
Like for Mel
clearly,
Gibson alone, I'm putting this pretty high.
like he clearly saw something worth making if he agreed to make it. So
Does the plane
80s. I'm saying 80s.
I'm saying 80s too.
does the plane leave from Boston?
No.
Well,
Otherwise, what's Marky Mark doing there?
Exactly. He's gonna do that accent the entire movie, and I can't stand it.
I'm
Right.
saying 80s.
So, like, will the plane have good or bad vibrations?
Stop.
I'm
Just-
giving it you, but-
I was going to do
yeah.
it if somebody else did.
so we're going 80s. All
Yeah.
right.
Wait. Are we writing this down so that
Um,
we could, so like we can come back and say, oh, Jason was right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's going to
Yeah.
be on video
Yeah, it's going to be on video.
Okay, fine.
That's
All right.
record.
for the whole world to
Okay.
see.
77.
So not quite the 80s.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, average is 80s.
Well, in the interest of brevity, I'm going to do whole numbers for this episode too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'm probably doing tens.
Giving it a 76.34.
No decimals today.
No decimals today.
All right. Next up is actually a Paramount Plus TV film, which there's only a couple of
Come on.
them on this list that are not going through theaters.
See section
So
31.
the next one. So this is Star Trek Section 31. So coming out January 24th as well. Emperor Philippa. I'm not going to read the synopsis. You know, it's
Philippa.
Star Trek. First TV film for Star Trek, 14th overall film. Michelle Yeoh reprises her role from Star Trek Discovery.
The weakest of the Star Treks.
It's still a good Star Trek. I really enjoy it.
Well, yeah, that's fine. but
Also, if it weren't for Discovery, we wouldn't have
Stranger
Stranger
Worlds.
New Worlds. I'm
True
going to give
story.
it 50. Whoa.
I mean, I was thinking 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Like Star Trek people will probably be okay with it.
Yeah.
I doubt it'll be super highly received even by them. Section 31 by itself is polarizing
Yeah.
in the Star Trek fan base. A lot of people feel like if the whole point is that we've reached a utopia, Section 31 shouldn't exist.
Also, Section 31, I think, was a good idea for like one of those things that you kind of pepper into a series every now and then.
Yeah.
To make it mysterious and enigmatic.
Enigmatic.
Thank you.
I got you.
But as a movie, and also it was supposed to be a series, which
yes,
means
this is
that
one of those things that was turned into
it turned into a movie because my guess is their ideas weren't great. So 50%.
I feel like this exists because Michelle Yeoh won an Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Like
I want
100%.
it to be good, but I think the reality.
Yeah, that being said, I want it to be good and I will watch the absolute crap out of it.
Yeah.
To be fair,
to be fair, aw,
Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, would have been better if it was a movie.
yep,
Sure.
100%.
So this might be evidence of a good choice.
True.
But
Yeah.
all that being said, critics will probably give it in the 60s, I think.
I say 60.
What do you say?
Not much.
Okay.
You know, you can take just a blind guess. That's
40s.
Whoa.
I don't think they're going to like it.
Okay.
Okay. I think it still averages out to be a 50s.
That is a very
Yeah.
strong nerdy statement because
I feel like,
nerds have strong statements. I like it.
yeah, I'm not going to explain myself.
Whoa. Okay.
America.
Bold choice.
Well, all right. So next up, we have the last movie in January. So Wolfman, coming out January 17th. It's a horror film, originally attached to the failed Universal Monsters cinematic universe all the way back in 2014.
Oh, yeah.
Stars Julia Garner, most famous from the Ozark TV series on Netflix,
Mm.
and Christopher Abbott. So Wolfman, horror film coming out.
32.
Oof.
Yeah, I
Didn't you
remember-
say this looks like it's going to suck?
Well,
You make a
I did
French
say that.
poster.
I did say that, but it was not for Wolfman. It was for Dogman. And that sucked.
I'm gonna.
And the follow-up feature film, Canine Man, which will also suck.
But also, I like a lot of things that Blumhouse
That's
does.
what I was just about to say. It is Blumhouse, which I did not know until just now.
Yeah,
They usually don't miss.
What-
exactly.
What? I'm not familiar with Blumhouse, so what? Give me a good. example.
They started as like an indie horror house.
Not what I asked.
And then they started making really good things, like The New Invisible Man,
Okay.
Yeah.
which was very well received.
Okay.
The
Haven't seen
what else did they do?
Black Phone most recently.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Well, Jason, you're not a horror person. You're not going to
Yeah,
have
that's
seen
true.
any of
Yeah.
these.
Yeah, I'm not a horror. I'd say just statistically speaking, horror movies don't do well with critics. 60%.
Factually true. I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
Because they're always like, it relies on cheap cliches.
I'm stuck on the fact that you said horror house.
Opposed to Bloomhouse?
No,
Nah.
Jason.
Don't
Jason,
worry about it.
Jason,
Okay, what?
Jason. You missed it, man. You missed it. Moving on.
Okay.
So where are we putting it?
50s.
In the 50s or below 50s?
I'm putting it in the 50s. Y'all can put it wherever you want.
60.
60. Moving into February. So our first big one is Captain America Captain America Brave New World. So it comes out February 14th, Valentine's Day. Following the election of Thaddeus Ross as the President of the United States, Sam Wilson finds himself at the center of an international incident and must work to stop the true masterminds behind it. So Anthony Mackie takes over the role of Captain America. Harrison Ford takes over the role of Ross. We have Giancarlo Esposito. We have Tim Blake Nelson reprising his role from The Incredible Hulk. So pretty stacked cast.
Stacked.
80s.
I'm going to say 70s.
I was also thinking 70s.
No, it's got Harrison Ford as well as a black lead. It will be in the 80s.
And
But
Hot
it's just-
Gallo.
Yeah, Giancarlo. Yeah. He's.
It'll be in the 80s,
every
I
time I
promise.
see him, I love him.
Yeah, it's always.
make
I also
Good
like saying his
argument.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Like a lot of people will score it highly because quote unquote positive messaging. And then there'll be a few people who are just like, it's a Marvel movie and it's trash and it'll lower it. So it's going to be in the 80s. I promise.
I'm gonna,
Yeah, that
I'm gonna
sounds
say
good.
70s because it's a superhero movie. And again, critics
But see,
are tired of
but
That
Marvel,
was my thought. as
but
well.
Marvel movies that don't suck always score really well. And I don't think this movie is going to suck.
Okay.
I think it's going to be really good.
Sure.
This might
Oh,
be one of those Marvel's turning it around movies, you know?
I am seriously looking forward
So,
to this one.
yeah.
Especially with the slight espionage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which that was how Captain America movies work best.
Exactly.
Is when you lean into the government aspect of it. Anywho, I say 80s vehemently.
I'm agreeing 80s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been convinced to agree.
Okay. That's what we're all
70s.
about here.
And there's Jason.
Jason's like, write it down. 70s.
All right, next
Double
movie.
down. Double down.
Next movie in February, we have Cleaner.
Not familiar with this one.
So this is
Old Daisy
coming out
Ridley?
February 21st, when activists take over an energy company's annual gala held at One Canada Square, Canary Wharf in London. Some more radical members of their group take hostages and threaten to blow up the building if police intervene. If dishonorably discharged by the highly trained ex-soldier who works as the building's window cleaner, attempts to save the hostages when she learns one of them is her older brother. So yes, starring Daisy Ridley and Clive Owen.
First off, I adore Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
Secondly, and perhaps most importantly, 52.
I was going to say 40.
Okay. Okay. So for my first thought was Die Hard in England.
Exactly.
If you've seen the trailers, that is very definitely the vibe.
Or The
Also,
Mask.
big fan of Daisy Ridley. Big fan of Clive Owen.
Who's finally starting to look old.
Right. He's another one of those actors that.
For a long time, he looked 40 something.
You had me maybe until the whole window cleaner thing, and then I'm just like,
Yeah, like
I hope you should. My eyes rolled so hard. Yeah, 50.
I feel like any window cleaner to be like, not my job.
Yeah, that's the whole
Well, I
reason.
mean, but it's
That's the
her
whole reason
Yeah.
you're a window cleaner now.
Yeah.
Like, you are officially abdicating responsibility.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love Daisy Ridley. I think she's actually a really good actress. I hate that she hasn't really had a career
Yeah, she's not been
Yeah.
in great
post
vehicles.
Star Wars. Yeah. So
Okay.
The
I don't
plot
know.
kind of sounds like, how can we take the most boring thing possible and twist it in a way that might make people interested? And then they made it into a movie.
It's like you could see like the director or the writers going, okay, get this.
yeah. No,
She
stay with
kills
me.
him. She kills him with a squeegee.
And then she
I
looks down.
love it.
Then she looks down and says, "Streak free, mother."
So where are we putting those 50s?
50s, definitely.
So the next movie coming up in February, the last one on the list, The Monkey. So this is coming out February 21st.
40s.
It's a Stephen King film. So based on the
40s.
same, shut up. Based on the same 1980 short story from Stephen King. It's from Longlegs writer-director Osgood Perkins. It stars Theo James, Tatiana Maslany, Elijah Wood, Christian Convery, Colin O'Brien, and so on and so on. So, Stephen King film.
40s.
Elijah would just be doing random stuff.
And that Lord of the Rings money's getting low.
Yeah.
He's just like, so what's out there? No, Stephen King adaptations have a tendency to be awful. Like just trash.
Yeah, wasn't there a plan to make his books a universe?
There was,
It's
and
not
it would have been
planned.
amazing.
No, the books are part of a universe.
Yeah.
It's the movies that they're trying to do.
Well, I think
and
that's
it's
what
just-
he meant. Was the adaptations.
Right.
So his short stories have actually slapped most of the time. They've been converted, like The Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah, that's like the only one. Name another.
Green Mile.
Okay, name 3.
Hang on.
Name one that doesn't involve a prison.
Oh God, I can't. Okay.
Boom.
So I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't know. Maybe 70s.
No, 40s.
I'm saying 70s.
Calling it 40s.
All right, so moving into March. First one up, we have Alto Nights coming out March 21st. This is starring Robert De Niro in a dual role.
Gross.
So Vito Gian and Frank Costello are competing Italian-American mob bosses, and Gian orders a hit on Costello. Costello survives but is wounded in the attempt and ultimately decides to retire from the mafia. Robert De Niro is playing both of those mob bosses. So, interesting.
Wait, are they-
Interesting.
Not
Are they-
interesting now.
Are they related?
So I'd really like to analyze this. And
Wait, who's directing?
Oh, I actually did not have to.
I see what you did there.
Let's see.
Yeah.
If it's Scorsese, I'll put it in the 80s. If it's anyone else, it's in the 30s.
It is Barry Levinson.
30s.
What?
Sorry, Barry.
so Alto Nights.
Alto Nights.
Do we know what this is a reference to?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to say 40s.
So below 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
Easily
we,
below
we
50.
beat up the whole mob thing
Yeah. And also, Robert De Niro has done the mafia thing so much.
so much.
And then on top of that, we've just kind of gotten to the point where if like one actor is playing multiple characters, I just feel like it's a cop out, and you're just hoping for bonus points because you're pulling off one actor playing 2 characters. So I don't.
So there's actually
Yeah.
there's another movie coming out this year that's where they're doing that.
All right. So moving up to March 7th in this list, we have Mickey 17. So it's a sci-fi black comedy based on the 2022 film, or excuse me, the 2022 novel, Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. It stars Robert Pattinson, Naomi Ackie, Stephen Yeun, Tony Collette, and Mark Ruffalo.
80s.
70.
Yeah.
70s.
I think it's going to be too highbrow for the critics. I'm
No, that's why I'm giving it an 80.
going to say like
Mm.
60s for them.
No. Do you know who movie critics are? They will give it high scores because it's highbrow.
No,
I
I'm
doubt
going to
they'll
say that they're
even-
not going to understand it, and so they're going to think it's stupid.
I don't think that's a
See,
prerequisite.
I agree with Jason. I think this is actually probably going to get dumped.
But it's probably going to be a really good movie.
No.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. It looks really cool.
I,
It does.
I disagree.
So how about 70s?
Yeah, what I said.
Christian's like, I said that.
All right, next up in March, we have Black Bag. So this is coming out March 14th. It's a spy thriller. The film will follow legendary intelligence agents George Woodhouse and his beloved wife, Catherine. When she is suspected of betraying the nation, George faces the ultimate test, loyalty to his marriage or his country. Starring Michael Fassbender,
Okay.
Kate Blanchett,
Shameless.
Mhm.
and Pierce Brosnan.
Ooh,
I saw that trailer.
what'd you
It
think?
looks pretty good.
Does it?
70s?
Sounds right.
I'll go 70s. I'm sorry, but if you're a spy, you're automatically should pick your country over your wife. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You're probably not even that into her.
I mean, well, I'm sorry, but I mean, it's kind of like the
I'm not into anything more than USA.
right. Yeah, I mean, if you're a spy or whatever country you're a spy for.
No, it's USA. It's still
I'm
USA.
just saying, like, I don't want to like exclude our world audience. So
No,
You
USA.
know, if you're a spy for India, then it should be.
If you're not a spy for USA, you should be. Okay.
Corey's like, we're moving on.
All right, lastly in March, we have
19.
the live-action Snow White coming out March 21st, starring Rachel Ziegler, Andrew Burnap, and Gal Gadot.
Actually, I overshot
Gadot.
like
That was
12.
Gadot.
So
Well, for a
okay.
long time, we thought it was Godot because that would be like the French pronunciation, which
But
would be
she's
the
not
most common.
French.
But she's super Israeli, and it's definitely
Super.
Gadot. And I love Gal Gadot, like with my whole heart. And this movie is going to be a 10
I'll see it. I'll see
out of
it 'cause
100,
she's
to
in
be
it.
clear.
I'll see it
Like-
because she's in it.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But no, I expect this to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
saw the trailer. The dwarves are nightmare fuel. It's gonna be awful.
I'll give it a 30.
Actually, your guess is probably more realistic, but it's definitely a sub 50 film.
Going into April, we have the first movie coming out April 25th. Yet again, these are not exactly in order. We have The Accountant 2. So this is the sequel, obviously, to The Accountant. Starring Ben Affleck, John Bernthal, J.K. Simmons, and Cynthia Adai Robinson. So Josh, you love this movie. Really, you
I adore The Accountant.
Never saw it.
First off, that will be my movie choice now that I know that you have not seen it yet, because
Heard.
you should see that. I don't know. I mean, like I had a strong connection to it because my son is autistic.
Since I didn't read the synopsis, can you just like very clearly?
So real quick, Ben Affleck plays an autistic accountant who had an unusual upbringing and ended up being a financial advisor for criminal organizations, and then uses that information to punish criminals that he feels like are violating his ethical code. And it is actually a very good representation of what the autism spectrum can look like. Because they do a very good job of showing both sides of that coin. He's exceptionally gifted at mathematics. He's very detail oriented, and he struggles with talking to people. He struggles with when things are not the way that he feels like they should be. You can tell that they consulted heavily with people who deal with this a lot. And it's kind of one of those things. I did not handle my son's autism diagnosis well at first. And, just by chance, this movie kind of came out.
Yeah.
And it was just like, no, I mean, like, it's different and you're going to have challenges. But it is very possible that people with that mental arrangement can be incredibly gifted and do really incredible things.
Become a badass assassin.
Well, I mean, there's that. But like, even if you took that part out of it, just like it is a character study masquerading as an action flick. Like,
I
if
love your terminology of mental arrangement, by the way.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I
it's
love
different. Like Harrison will be smarter than me, 1,000%. He's probably already smarter than me, and I say that as someone who's very convinced of his own intelligence.
No, really.
And so no, like it's cool, and I'm very personally excited for this movie. It'll be in the 70s. It will, because it's an action movie. Like
Sure.
it will be. There'll be a lot of people who's like, yeah, it's fine. And there'll be a lot of people who are just like, well, from an artistic standpoint, blah blah blah.
So,
It'll be in the 70s. I think that's where the first one scored.
I'm actually looking it up.
It was probably high 60s, low 70s. And I don't think it was like a blockbuster. I'm kind of surprised it's getting a sequel. I think it did really well on home video, is what happened.
When was the first one released?
I mean, like I said, around the time Harrison was born, 2018-ish.
2016, and on
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes, the original actually has a 53%.
Mm.
But it's one of those movies where the audiences disagreed. It had a 77% for
Okay.
audience.
So I'd say gross 90, net 75.
All right,
What-
next up in April, we have a Minecraft movie coming out April 4th. It's based on the 2011 video game starring Jack Black, Jason Momoa for some reason. So, what do we think about this?
You didn't question Jack Black, but you questioned Jason.
Well, because
Momoa.
Jack Black has a history of doing whatever.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Jason
Two.
Momoa isn't Aquaman anymore, so he needed something to do.
2.
Lobo.
I saw a meme about Jack Black where they were like, Jack Black could be normal anywhere. You could see him walking in the background on an alien ship, and he'd just be normal.
You would just accept it.
just accept it. So.
Jack Black can show up anywhere, and I'd be like, yeah, that's where he belongs.
It feels right.
Feels right. I accept this.
So I believe someone said 2. Christian, was that you?
2.
Out of 100?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you. This does not seem like it's going to be one of the recent
It'll
trends in
be-
video game adaptations that's actually good.
it'll be sub 50s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it. My kids love Minecraft. We're in the middle of a very big Minecraft phase.
I know my nephew
Right now.
probably loved this.
I was just about
Um,
to say, my older nieces and nephew are stoked about this.
See, that's what I was gonna say. The most recent trailer, it might be okay. I'm not gonna say it's great.
No.
I would be shocked if it was great. It might be okay.
Not convinced.
But yeah, from a critic standpoint, God no, it's gonna be in the whatever the lowest category is on our sheet. It's gonna
Below
be
50. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be sub 50s.
I'll-
I'll notice I'll be in a chair for an hour and a half.
Christian, I'm gonna bring you with us when we go see it. We're all gonna go see Minecraft.
I think it's going to be, for some reason, a little bit better than what we expect, like critic wise. It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I say like 50s.
I mean, there's like a lot of
Probably the
talent in it,
great.
right? Like there's some decent actors in it. So
I think
I don't know.
critics might go into it thinking it's going to be so bad that if anything even remotely
Right.
decent happens, they'll bump it just a little bit.
The power of low expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50s.
All right. So also in April, we have Sinners. So coming out April 18th, trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. So starring Michael B. Jordan, I guess was his door role that you're talking
Yeah.
about. Also starring Haley Steinfeld and directed by Ryan Coogler.
Ooh.
So three good names right there.
Ooh. 70.
I think it's going to get a bump because of who's in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll get bonus points because of who's directing and who's in it. And it's probably going to be a movie that's like a 6 out of 10, but they'll give it the 70s.
So 270s.
Yeah, I'm thinking 70s.
I'm thinking 70s as well.
Now,
I'm going to say it's going to be along the lines of being viewed as a horror movie. So I'm going to put it in the 50s by critics.
All right. So also in April, we have coming out April 25th, Until Dawn. So this is the film based on the video game that came out a few years ago.
It's kind of wild.
The 2015 video game. So the synopsis: a group spends the weekend in a ski lodge on an anniversary of their friend's disappearance, unaware that they are not alone. So directed by David Sandberg, who is most famous for films such as Annabelle Creation, Lights Out, and Shazam 1 and 2. Starring a bunch of new names, so Ella Rubin, Michael Cimino, Ji Young Yu, and Odessa Zenon. So
So to be clear, none of the actors who were in the video game.
correct. Only one is reprising their role. It's Peter Stormare reprising the narrator, I believe.
Yeah.
mm.
He's Irish, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Irish.
sounds right.
So I loved Until Dawn, the video game. I thought it was a fantastic story. This was from the same. This was like the debut game for a studio that went on to make tons of horror games. Most recently, The Quarry that came out last year that Jason and I played together. A bunch of cool games. So very great story. I think this is a perfect video game to make into a movie.
I mean, it's
So
already
if
essentially a movie.
it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one
Okay.
of those games where you can control the outcome, like tons of different outcomes. So you can control who lives and dies. So it'd be interesting to see which storyline they actually end up going with, like who's going to live, who's going to die. So I'll go watch it. 50s.
60s.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you in the 50s thing. It's a bold move to take a game that was famous for doing realistic depictions and motion capture of actual actors,
Yeah.
Rami Malek, by the way, who is now an
Like-
Oscar winner.
like named actors, and then do a movie adaptation and not use those
Was it
actors.
Hayden
Which-
Panettiere?
Yeah, which I was gonna say, which like
yeah.
like I get it because it would have been super expensive.
Yeah.
Just from a talent standpoint. But like, I don't know.
Knowing nothing about it, but just what you've said, I feel like it's risky to make a movie from a game that has so much variability and so much choice and option. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way
Yeah.
general public or critics could be pleased with
Mhm.
a storyline that could have been 48 other storylines.
Well, see, and
I've
that's
played the game probably 6 times, different outcome every time.
well, see,
so
but
how could you make a movie that
but
pleases
that's
anybody
that's the entertaining part of the game, though.
of the
Like
game?
the
Yeah.
basic story is actually pretty straightforward. Like it's nothing shocking.
But you get one shot in a movie.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be sub 50s, 50s and under.
Unless they chose a really good storyline.
Also, with Until Dawn and those types of games, they're already designed to be
Cinematic.
exactly. And
So
the
what's
only
the point of a film?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's the kind of, so what's the point of the
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Winter Brothers. Yes,
No, I mean like it's yes, like this is a very good example of misunderstanding what you have.
Yeah.
And,
and
so,
you don't have big names.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry,
like
just
like all the major selling points of the two major selling points were this game has a million different endings and variations.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't work in a film. And look at all these big name people we got to be in our game.
Yep.
Literally none of them came to the movie.
so 50.
So what's the point of the movie?
Yeah, 45.
The only way this movie would work. Okay, stay with me. Hold on. We're going to tangent for just 1 second. I promise not to do this very often.
Too
So the only way this movie would work is if you made it an experimental film where they filmed a million different choices and it's a choose your own adventure and the audience has to choose what happens as the film is going.
That would be cool.
That's just the game.
Or
But it's
if every theater has
Yeah.
like a
Cool.
different
yes,
variation.
but yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Like there's like 10 different
You don't know which version you're going to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Ooh.
Did we just save movie theaters again? By the way, we're going to link that video. It's right up here.
It's making me think of the movie Clue.
Yeah, good job,
like-
Corey.
It could have happened like this. Speaking of Rami Malek,
There he is. Found him.
Good
He's
segue,
the
Jason.
amateur.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, the last movie that we're going to talk about coming out in April is The Amateur. So coming out April 11th, based on the 1981 novel of the same name by Robert Littell.
Sure.
So the synopsis: after Charles Heller, a CIA cryptographer, loses his wife in a London terrorist attack, he realizes his bosses will not act due to conflicting internal priorities. Having blackmailed the agency to train him as a field operative, he embarks on a one-man mission to hunt down his wife's killers. So obviously starring Rami Malek, but also Rachel Brosnahan, our new Lois Lane,
Oh, yeah.
John Bernthal, and Lawrence Fishburne.
so Punisher and Morpheus.
Yep.
70s. It will be average.
60s.
Saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Very much average.
Really?
So you're thinking around the middle, like 60s?
50s?
It's like it's John Wick
With
was was the guy that Rami Malek played on the TV, the TV show that he was on,
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love that show.
yeah.
Mm.
So where would you put it?
Average.
Okay, that's not a number.
60s.
Okay. All right. Moving into May, we have a stacked month in May. So summer's going to be a banger. We have at least 7 films coming out in May that are on my list.
Okay.
So first one up, we have A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey coming out May 9th. It's a romantic fantasy film. In this tale, David heads to a wedding to his old car with a unique GPS. He meets Sarah, and together they embark on a journey suggested by the GPS, starring, and the reason it's on my list, Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell.
Interesting. So 2 villains from the Batman universe.
Yes.
Dude, where's my
Halfway
car
through,
and her?
Ben Affleck shows up and just starts pounding people. Actually, I'd watch that.
That'd be fun.
Hold on. In the synopsis, you were like, they're going to a wedding and they use the GPS in this car to go on an adventure. Is that what you said?
It's a unique GPS,
But they're
and the
going to a
GP
wedding.
but the GPS kind of just
It
takes
does
them
its thing.
somewhere.
The-
Are they getting Herbie?
The wedding?
Yeah. It sounds like they're
concerned
getting
about the
Herbie.
wedding.
Are they getting
I don't
Herbie?
know.
Okay.
I don't think it's their wedding. I think it's a wedding.
It's a journey that's suggested by the GPS. So maybe they're getting to the wedding, but they're going in a.
Instead of going like
Okay.
this,
Yeah.
it's like
Synopsis doesn't make sense to me. 20s.
I mean,
it has potential.
Is it a romantic
50s?
fantasy?
Yeah.
So when I hear that, I'm thinking Big Fish.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Which was actually a really good movie.
50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say 65.
50s.
That's not even a movie poster.
All
This is a
right.
picture
No.
This is a picture on your
phone. We have Final Destination Bloodlines. Yes, they're bringing it back. Coming out May 16th. It's the 6th installment in the franchise.
Wow.
There's actually no synopsis for it yet, but it's been dated.
Do you-
for
It's Final Destination.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Let it die.
well,
Like it's Final Destination. Yeah.
so what are we thinking?
I mean,
10.
Okay. What do we think of the other 5? Final Destinations.
I think
I've never seen any of them.
I think they
honestly.
probably scored in the 50s and 60s.
I mean, they made me scared to drive.
Oh,
Yeah.
They-
I will never be behind a
Yeah.
logging truck
Never.
ever
Had
again.
The cultural impact, which is different though than if
Being
they're a good
good.
movie or not.
Right.
The franchise fell off pretty hard after the second one.
Yeah.
Got really C movie level.
Dude,
So,
Final
yeah.
Destination 2 slapped though.
That's the
That's the one with
fair.
yes, it has the fair and it had the log off the back.
Log Truck was the second one, I believe. Yeah.
Was it? Really?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
first,
the first one was
First one was the airplane, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Second one ended with the cookout and it blows up and the guy lands on the picnic table.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So are we thinking below 50?
Probably.
10.
Whoa.
I mean, the lowest category Corey has is below 50, but it's kind of a catch-all.
All right, next up in May, we have Hurry Up Tomorrow. So you may recognize that name.
Nope.
So coming out May 16th, it's a psychological thriller film directed by Trey Edwards Schultz based on The Weeknd's album, 6th studio album of the same name. So it
Oh.
stars Jenna Ortega, Barry Keoghan,
He's the Joker.
Keegan?
Yeah.
and The Weeknd. So The
Interesting.
Weeknd's actually in this film. So
Hmm.
That's cool. Sounds
60s.
interesting.
I was about to say, I think he's done some stuff before.
Yeah, he's a
All
singer.
right. I mean, as in like it's just acting.
He was blinded by the lights, Christian.
It's true. 40.
I'm thinking 60s.
I was thinking 60s.
It'll be artsy enough that it'll
Yeah.
get a few people on board.
I'd say artsy. I'd say
Yeah.
50s.
60s. I'm calling 60s.
So we had a 40, we had a 50, we had a couple of 60s. So
50s. I mean, it's fair. I'm not going to argue with you, but I think 60s.
All right, next up in May, we have Karate Kid Legends coming out May 30th. After moving to New York City with his mother, Kung Fu prodigy Li Fong struggles to let go of the past as he tries to fit in with his new classmates. When a new friend needs his help, Li enters a karate competition, obviously. But his skills alone aren't enough. With the help of Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso, he soon learns to merge two styles into one of the ultimate martial arts showdown. So stars Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, both reprising their roles from previous films, while introducing Ben Wong as the main lead for this film debut alongside Joshua Jackson, Sadie Stanley, and Ming Non Wen.
Sure.
30s.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think probably 60s. Low 60s.
60s.
Yeah.
I think
It'll
it's
be-
another franchise that's been beat to death.
It'll be well received. But Cobra Kai is slapping on Netflix.
True story.
That is a good point. This franchise has had a little resurgence lately.
Yeah.
But the movies have not done well.
Well, the only other new one was with Will Smith's kid, and we just didn't give a crap.
So the movies have not done well.
I'm with Jason. I think this is a 40s, 50s type of movie.
No, you're way undershooting it. It's going to be in the 60s.
Jackie Chan.
And see, like, okay, so my most favorite movie.
I'm
that
not saying I think it's going
Ralph
to be a
Macchio is
60.
in is My Cousin Vinny. So he's not even a main character in my favorite movie that he's in. And I just haven't seen anything great that Jackie Chan's been in recently. So I don't know.
Like, you have to remember, like, 60 is not a great score.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it will be in the 60s. I promise it'll be in the 60s.
So how about we meet in the middle 50s?
Like, do you know how many
Yeah.
things on Rotten Tomatoes actually end up in the 40s? It's almost none of them. It's
Sure.
just that very few things score higher than the 60s.
You're
I-
right.
It will be in the 60s.
All right, also in May, so we're launching a little bit earlier than a typical Mission Impossible film, trying to beat that summer rush. On May 23rd, we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the 8th installment in the Mission Impossible franchise, obviously starring Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell,
Who?
Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and Vanessa Kirby. So the actual synopsis has not been released, but obviously follow
It's
up to
part
the last
2
one.
of... Yeah.
Yeah.
which, by the way, slapped.
It
Yes.
slaps so good. Why did it bomb at the box office? Like,
Which is no one went to see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really weird. 70s?
90s. Sorry. 90s.
No.
Going 90s.
You think so?
Wait, how old
What
Tom
did part
Cruise?
1 get? Do we know what part 1 got?
Part 1, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, a 96.
Holy cow.
I told you people liked it.
Well, I mean, I know I
Audience
liked
agreed
it. I
to.
didn't know critics liked it.
Audiences agreed to 94%. It was certified fresh, certified
Holy
everything.
cow.
Yeah.
80s.
So I think the last Mission Impossible I watched was the second one.
Wow, you stopped at the low point.
Yeah. So I really don't have a good feeling about these movies.
Never
got
mind. For
so
my
good
movie
after
night,
that.
we're starting at Mission Impossible 4 and we're just going. We're
We're
going to watch
Honestly,
all
No, man.
all
Mission Impossible
4.
3 was pretty. It had what's his name?
Yeah, but like it was the end of like kind of the trilogy and then they kind of sort of changed
I mean,
the
yeah,
vibe.
Ghost
was that the
Protocol,
John Woo
Starting
one?
with
No, John Woo was 2.
Those
two,
two? Okay. Thank
it had moments, but it was kind of weird.
Mission Impossible
with
3
his long
had
hair
Philip
was
Seymour
great.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Excellent bad guy.
But like
Yeah.
4 was Ghost Protocol was kind of the soft reboot.
I mean, you're right. You're right.
Like that's a good
was
starting
awesome.
point. That is the modern Mission Impossible franchise.
I will say though that I think everybody's wanting to give this a strong send off, since it's probably going to be one of his last probably really big movies too.
I doubt that, but go on.
I don't know.
I
so
think
I'd
at
say
worst, all that'll
80s,
happen is he starts
85.
doing more dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
85.
No, I'm saying 90s, especially now that I know that's how high they ranked the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say 90s.
And they filmed it at the same time, so like they had the
yeah.
the same story and everything.
Oh, they Peter
Same-
Jackson did.
Same energy.
They just had to
Going
keep
into it.
stopping because people were getting sick.
So we're putting 80s to 90s.
I'm saying
90s.
90s.
Yeah.
90s.
Oh wow.
Especially now that I know they scored the first one so high. I didn't know that.
Also coming up in May, we have the live action Lilo and Stitch film
Why?
for some reason coming out May 23rd. Synopsis is the exact same as the original film, so you don't need any of that.
Oh, okay.
And you know Disney's done so well with their live adaptations.
70s.
Cynthia's face right now.
How you feeling, champ?
60s.
Well, I mean,
30s.
the animated one, like the original, is so good. Why did? I guess I was going to
'Cause-
say, why do they feel the need to do it? Why did they do it to
It's the
Mulan?
buddy.
Why did they do
Yeah.
it to The Lion King? Why
Yeah.
did they
'Cause-
do it to Cinderella?
So
Did they
yeah,
do- or is it-
Cinderella they did,
Because-
and then they
Yeah.
did the Beauty and the Beast. Now they're doing
Jungle
Snow White,
Book, yeah.
and yeah, it's why yeah.
70s.
Because
I'm just wondering if that's Stitch. Where's the rest of the nightmare fuel? Snow White.
Yeah, Snow White.
70s.
Okay. This is either.
This one will be okay. It's 70s.
I feel like it's gonna be one end or the other. Like it'll either absolutely tank or be their best live adaptation
I'm
yet.
gonna say 30s.
Whew.
60s.
70s.
Oh my god.
It's
Despite
70s.
my face,
It's
I'm going
70s.
70s.
It's 70s.
All right, also coming up in May, we have another MCU film, Thunderbolts. So coming out May 2nd, this is a group of anti-heroes goes on missions for the American government. That's the entire synopsis.
It's Marvel Suicide Squad.
It's Marvel Suicide Squad, so obviously starring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, David Harbour,
Or-
Harvard.
I think you do it with a long O.
Wyatt Russell, a bunch of people. It's a stacked cast. So what are you guys thinking?
60s.
Yeah, I'm going to go see this, and I'm probably going to really like it. But I think 50s or 60s.
I think it'll be fun, but it won't be good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Sure.
And so the
70s.
critics will put it in the 60s.
I want to be pleasantly surprised. Like if it's, I want to come out of there and going like I was so wrong about this. But
I want to know what the asterisks about.
right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Marvel is being so cautious with not putting out crap. It's got to be at least 70s.
I say 70s.
It's bold of you. 60s.
I do want to see more of David Harbour as the
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. Yeah, I think that for me that was the best part of Black Widow. Yeah.
All right, so moving into June, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 films coming out, so somehow less than May. 28 years later. So this was actually just recently announced, coming out June 20th. The post-apocalyptic sci-fi film. It's been almost 3 decades since Rage Virus escaped a medical research laboratory, and in a ruthlessly enforced quarantine, some have found ways to exist amidst the infected. One such group of survivors lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single heavily defended causeway. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the dark heart of the mainland, they discover secrets, wonders, and the horrors of the outside world. So it stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Ralph Fiennes.
Rafe Fiennes.
I also thought that Cillian Murphy was also in it. I
Right.
thought I read that.
That's how you say his name is Rafe.
There's a freaking L in it.
Yeah, it's Rafe.
Right.
Rafe
Same thing
Fiennes.
with Von Williams,
I don't like that.
Or Rafe Fine, excuse
which
me.
is not an
You don't
actor.
say the S either. It's Rafe Fine.
Rafe.
Yeah, I'm surprised Cillian Murphy's name is not on here.
He's dead.
He's a producer, not necessarily in the film.
Okay, so
People think they see his desiccated corpse in the trailer
Mhm.
as a virus.
It looks a lot like him.
Okay, so
He may be in it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, because one of the countdown lists I saw earlier today said that he was in it. So don't know. I mean,
Yeah. Like
that's,
I said,
that's all I got.
he's not had an official reveal. Like I said, people think they've seen his virus
Real
laden.
body.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
we'll
he is
find
confirmed
out.
to be producing it.
Okay,
He's a
Which, I mean, he was in the first two.
Yeah.
it probably looks a lot like a scarecrow.
Stop. These were excellent horror movies.
Yes.
But as we've established, horror movies don't always score well.
But I do think that these movies do have kind of like a special place in a lot of movie viewers' hearts, even with critics.
I'm not a huge scary movie fan, and I like the 28.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a higher one than I would normally for a horror movie.
70s.
I'll throw it in the 75, 80.
Yeah, I was gonna
range.
say 70s feels right.
70s.
Because for every critic that loves it, there's gonna be someone who's just like, horror.
Yeah,
Horror.
just by nature.
Horror.
All right. Also coming out in June, we have the new Pixar film Elio, coming out June 13th. It follows an 11-year-old boy named Elio Solis, who accidentally becomes the intergalactic ambassador of planet Earth after being beamed up to the Communiverse by aliens for making contact.
Universe?
I don't know. Communiverse?
Stop.
I don't know. Elio must form new bonds with the eccentric alien life forms and navigate a crisis of intergalactic proportions. So, new Pixar film. Obviously, their film last year was a hit. Inside Out 2. So, what are we thinking?
I mean, it looks cute.
60s.
60s. I'm going to go with 60s on that one.
50s.
70s.
So we have another live action remake. This one's How to Train Your Dragon coming out June 13th. Do I need to read the synopsis? You guys? No. Okay, cool. Stars a bunch of new names, but we also have Nick Frost and Gerard Butler, bunch of people, Mason Thames.
Gerard.
So anyway, what are we thinking?
I'm going to give it 80.
80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60.
Yeah, 60.
I think as far as live action adaptations go, this one will be pretty good.
Yeah, this one I'm actually kind of looking forward to. Especially with Gerard Butler playing his own character
Gerard.
that he voiced.
All right. We have From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. So coming out June 6th, taking place between the events of Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Chapter 4, Eve Marcaro, a ballerina assassin, begins to train in the assassin traditions of Ruska Roma, I think, and sets out to exact revenge on her father's death. So starring Anna de Armas and Norman Reedus.
Love her.
Another one of those, like, it's going to score high because who's in it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to tiptoe around this, but maybe 90%.
Yeah, like it'll score really high.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we only have one film in the 90s, which is Mission Impossible.
Okay.
So
No, I think this one, like the John Wick movies are beloved because they are exactly what they say they are, and they don't pretend to be anything else.
Exactly.
They are the peak of action movies. They don't bog you down with story, and they don't pretend to. And yeah, they score well.
they do. They do.
I would also, though, just thinking about John Wick, I would like a bulletproof sports jacket.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah, it's also
you
like-
need that.
Really easy
I
lore.
do.
You don't like, really have to dive deep into.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's kind of all right there. It's
Yeah.
very surface level.
Yeah.
We do stuff underground and we exchange coins.
Right.
Yeah.
Got your challenge coin? Got my challenge
Yeah.
coin. Okay, you're good.
People are shockingly okay with random acts of violence.
Yeah.
yes.
Like they just accept
Shoot 'em
it
up
as
in
part
the
of
dance
AZ Day
club?
Dance.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do adult.
Oh,
metal
people are
blades.
doing kung fu and gunfights in traffic. I'm just gonna keep driving.
It's gun fu, by the way.
All right,
Oh.
coming out June 27th, we have F1. A former driver finds himself back in action when he returns to Formula One racing to take on the sport's top competition, not included in the synopsis is that it was after he wrecked out and had to take a break. So very cliche synopsis for a racing movie, but starring Brad Pitt.
So the first time I saw, this was on that grid that I sent you. It just said Brad Pitt in F1. I could not read what the heck the name of this movie was. It didn't have a helmet, Brad Pitt, or anything. I was like, was this an A? Is this a? I didn't know what to look up. I could not figure out what the heck I was looking.
You've never seen the F1 logo before?
No.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
Nerd.
Well, you know what's funny?
I guess without context, it would be.
I didn't. It took me like 8 different searches to figure out what the heck I was looking at. Finally, was like Brad Pitt, new movie.
So I will say, if this is anything like the Christian Bale movie, what was it called?
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
If it's anything like that, this could be really good.
This is also the same, like you just said, same director as Top Gun, right? Top Gun Maverick.
I didn't say that, but I don't know. Is it?
I think it is. So if they could kind of capture that whole cockpit feel, that would go a long way into making this a really fun movie.
Yeah.
This will either be really great or a complete waste of time.
Well, the whole movie synopsis is a
Every
quarter
racing
of
movie
what
ever.
what was in the Ricky Bobby movie.
Did we just describe F1 or Talladega Nights?
Yeah, Talladega Nights, man. He wrecks out, and it's his journey back into racing.
So does he get set on fire?
Help me, Oprah Winfrey.
Well, it's like invisible fire. He thinks he's
invisible
on
fire. Invisible fire.
So, to Jason's point, this is directed by Joseph Kosinski, which did direct films such as Top Gun Maverick, Tron Legacy, Oblivion, etc., etc. So he's had some pretty big hits and some not so hits. So could be either way.
80s.
Yeah, 80s feels right. I feel like it's probably not that great a movie, but it's going to be elevated by who's in it and who's making it.
It's going to be acted the hell out of.
And probably the adrenaline aspect of it.
Yeah, like it's that might be one of those where the synopsis doesn't do it justice.
Right.
Sure.
It's an experience movie.
I think Top Gun Maverick is a lot like that too. It's an experience movie.
Like if I try to tell you what Top Gun Maverick is about, you're just like, okay.
That sounds boring.
Planes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Cruise
Tom
flies
Cruise.
jets. Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm easy. Like Tom Cruise sold. I'll be there.
He's recruiting you.
All right. We have Megan 2.0 coming out June 27th. Obviously, the sequel to Megan. It's a sci-fi horror. There is no plot yet. So, first film was a surprise smash. Audiences loved it. Made bank at the box office. So, is this a cheap follow-up that's going to suck, or is it actually going to be a quality film?
Did you say
80.
June 27th?
It says January
Why'd you say
17th.
January 17th.
Did they move it?
It got delayed.
It got delayed. Okay.
It's sleigh time.
80.
Is this a movie? Did you see Megan?
I did.
You
What'd you
liked
think
it
of
a
it?
lot.
I've
didn't
watched
you?
it like 3 times.
That good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure,
So you
80s.
thinking 80?
Yeah, I'll say 80s.
80s. All right, I'll go
Yeah.
with Christian.
Megan 1 was well received too. So
Like it was cheesy, but like,
it knew it was cheesy.
yes.
It was one of those self-aware movies where,
Which is funny because she's an AI robot.
Interesting. Okay.
One of those must.
Aha!
This is in July 25th. The Fantastic Four First Steps. On the 1960s inspired retro futuristic Earth, the Fantastic Four must protect their home from being devoured by the cosmic being Galactus and his enigmatic herald, the Silver Surfer. So obviously
Really?
starring
Oh, yeah,
Pedro
that's right.
Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Eben Moss Bachrach,
And they did a gender switch on the Silver Surfer too on this one.
played by Julia Garner. So she has 2 films coming out this year. Good for her.
I heard it was going to be Anya Taylor-Joy, but that probably was just the internet.
I have no clue. I have no
Yeah,
sense. of
we've
this.
seen nothing about this movie.
Yeah.
It will either be horrid or it'll be another one of those Marvel is so back movies.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. This
I
one's
saw
hard.
that.
PTM.
So what are we thinking?
I don't know. Is it going to be good or bad? Like,
70s.
it will either be in the 50s or the 90s.
No, this is set in the 60s.
Jason. Brevity.
Sorry.
Brevity.
I'm going to say 60s, really, for real.
Ooh.
Yeah.
dogging on him. So
I'm literally going to split my score and just say 70s.
Okay.
Because it's going to be one or the other. Like, it's either going to be great or it's going to be a complete miss.
Sure.
No.
Why, bro?
Yes. The Smurfs movie, coming out July 18th, is an animated musical fantasy film. The film stars Rihanna as the voice of Smurfette, alongside an ensemble cast, which is just stacked with names, including Nick Offerman, Natasha Lyon,
Leon.
JP
Leon.
Karlayak, Dan Levy, Amy Sedaris, Nick Kroll, James Corden, Octavia Spencer, Hannah Whittingham, Sandra
Whittingham.
Oh, Alex Winter, Billy Lord, Kurt Russell, John Goodman. Like,
Why?
Ain't nobody saying that.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. It's like even stacked with these amazing actors, 0. Wait,
Like,
Even-
I don't even think enough critics are going to see this to actually score this.
Yeah.
Also, amazing actors is being very generous. It's a lot of people.
John
did I say
Goodman.
It's
amazing?
a lot of people you
Yeah.
recognize.
I think John Goodman is an amazing actor.
He is.
Okay.
Nick Offerman is
Offerman
okay.
an amazing actor.
And that's it.
Hang on. Can you list out those names again?
Rihanna.
Okay.
She did that Pacific Rim type movie.
Are you talking
Battleship?
about oh god, what was it called?
Battleship.
City of a Million.
Battleship, yeah.
Planet of a Million.
It's Battleship.
No. Oh, she was in Battle. No. You're right. She was in Battleship, but then she was also in Valerian.
Yeah, Valerian was awful too.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I wanted to
Valerian
like it
was-
so much. It was so bad. Who else was in it? I'm sorry.
Valerian was like, watch me waste $300 million.
My biggest question is who asked for this?
No one.
No.
Not a soul.
Do people even still know what the Smurfs is? Like,
That's what I was going to say.
That's their point.
Some studio was sitting on this property and they said, you know what we have? We should make a Smurfs.
We need to make this movie, or else we're going to lose the rights to it.
honestly,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
You should have just lost the rights to
Yeah.
it.
Is that the actual promotional poster for this?
From what I could find, yes, this is not fan art that says the actual poster. Don't quote me on that. It actually was hard to find.
Or was this from the Smurfs movie from
I don't know,
a decade ago?
because it does look familiar, doesn't it?
It does.
But I'm not
It
sure.
Yeah.
This might just be a placeholder.
Oh,
'Cause it was on
I
IMDb.
hope so. To give it anything, I hope
Sub
it's a
50s.
placeholder.
Yeah.
sub 50s.
I want them to do like live action
It's going to be 0. It's going to be.
just to
Jeez.
make it
Not a
creepy.
single person's gonna like this movie.
No,
Want
it's-
nightmares?
Yes,
You want to be haunted by
It's like-
the Smurf.
exactly.
It's like Fallout.
Like,
Everybody
for
hates
me,
that.
now the funniest part is like when horrific things happen to the Smurfs. It's, I mean, that's like on Adult Swim or
Oh
something.
yeah, like when he flooded the whole town.
Right. Or like when they get into a wood chipper and all blue comes out. You know, that's just
So moving on, coming out July 2nd, we have Jurassic World Rebirth. So the 7th film overall in the Jurassic franchise, 4th in the World sub-series. So 5 years after the events, oh my god, this is a long description. I'm just going to read one sentence.
Scarjo looks for
After the events of
dinosaurs.
Jurassic World Dominion, the planet's environment has shown itself to be mainly inhospitable to dinosaurs. The ones that are left are in remote equatorial regions? With
Equatorial?
conditions, sure, similar to those in which they were forming. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. It's Jurassic World, dinosaurs, blah, blah, blah. The film will star an ensemble cast, including Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey. Those are the only names I recognize, so ScarJo.
I just know ScarJo.
Yeah.
And
Mahershala
because
had,
of that, I will see this movie.
Yeah.
Mahershala had to do something because Blade wasn't jumping.
Oof.
Ouch.
Only ever been one blade. Only ever gonna be one blade.
And Kevin Feige's like, is it gonna be a Blade? Yeah.
You know,
I
if
got
it,
the hat. So
if it comes
maybe.
together, yeah.
So, the first Jurassic World movie, fantastic, loved it. The next two,
This
were
is
awful.
to me. This is another franchise that's just been done to death.
Yeah.
But they're
How many-
doing the wrong thing with it. The original Jurassic Park was so good because it was a suspenseful horror film, and they got away from that. Why?
Are you talking about the 1993 one?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's more action for some reason.
Yeah, it's action espionage for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but
Like,
you had
dinosaurs.
elements of action, science fiction, drama in the 1993 Jurassic, and an amazing score,
Yeah.
and also by an iconic director. And then you just had a bunch of attempts to capitalize on it. Honestly, just nothing ever seemed to like. I've watched the Jurassic Park, 2 and 3. Nothing really recaptured the
Absolutely not.
They were
trash.
Yeah, they were. And then I tried to watch the reboot, and it's just like, I don't know. I've never been really into anything besides the first one. So I'm going to say, I don't know, 50.
It's not going to do that bad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're going to call it an average film, and it's going to be in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know what it was for me? Corridor Digital pointed out, because they nailed it. They pointed out that it quit being good when the dinosaurs quit acting like animals.
Yeah.
Like they became the bad guys of the film, whereas in the first movie, they weren't inherently evil. They're animals. They're animals that are hungry.
Yeah.
And we're pretty good looking.
The bad guys were the
Like-
people that were trying to sabotage.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was because of Nedry.
Yeah. And so,
The Lord.
the lawyer, F that guy.
Newman.
And
Oh,
so yeah, but like in all the new movies, they've tried to make the dinosaurs the bad guys, and that doesn't work. It breaks the disbelief.
Got it.
And they were just like, it's much more convincing when they're just acting like animals.
So 70s.
Yes.
70s, 100%.
50s.
100.
All right. So we are moving towards the end of the list, but the next one up is a big one. So coming out July 11th,
Garth.
we have the next James Gunn film, Superman. So obviously starring David Cornsweet. I'm still not sure if I'm saying that correctly. As Superman, alongside Reginald Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion, tons of people. It's a stat cast yet again.
James
Anthony
Gunn's brother, I
Kiedis.
promise.
Yeah, he's probably in there. Alan Tudyk is in there somewhere. So,
Really?
we actually did a reaction to this trailer that aired a couple weeks ago. You can find that on our channel in the comments below.
Much discussed.
So much. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we thinking about
Okay.
this?
100.
So I'm going to go in, like, I'm going to probably love this movie almost no matter what. Just because that's just how I am. I'm going to say that the critics are going to be very difficult on it. I'm going to say they're probably going to put it at 60, 70, somewhere in there.
Honestly, I think I'm with you on that. Like, critics are probably going to hate this movie.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna go the other way.
80.
They're putting it in the 80s. Yeah.
80s.
I'm actually worried that I'm gonna have the exact opposite reaction. I'm worried I'm not going to like it. I want to like it. I want to like it a lot. I'm very much hoping the DCU succeeds.
Yeah.
I'm worried, and I say that as someone who liked the trailer. Like we talked about this. Like I liked it. I
Yeah.
genuinely liked it. I'm worried I'm going to watch the movie and be like, meh. But I think it's going to be well received.
Because I actually remember seeing Joss Whedon's Justice League. Yeah, Joss Whedon's Justice League and
The Justice League.
the Justice League. And I remember enjoying it.
Yeah, you're weird.
And I'm almost gonna say if it's Superman, I'm pretty much gonna be okay with it. And then I watched the Snyder cut. And I'm like, this was so much better than Justice League.
Yes.
But I think the difference in the two was that the Superman in that one in Joss Whedon's was the hopeful red, white, or red, yellow, and blue Superman.
Sure.
And so, and they used the John Williams music when he showed up. So that kind of hits me perfectly. And they did that with this. So I don't know. I'm probably just going to like it no matter what. I'll just admit it.
All right. We have the Battle of Bacton Cross.
Sure.
Sure. This one's coming out in August 8th, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. That's why it's on the list. Also starring Sean Penn and Regina Hall. So very little's known about this film. But just because it's the next Leo film, it's probably going to get some
Attention.
views. So what are we thinking?
80.
50s.
Literally nothing else to go on except for Leo DiCaprio.
50s.
And Virginia Hall.
Sure.
70s.
Okay.
I got to stress again how few things on Rotten Tomatoes fall below 50. Really fall below 60. Almost everything is a 60 or a 70.
Sounds like people are scared to see what they really feel.
Or they're just, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
90.
We also have Freakier Friday coming out August 8th. Tess and Anna discover that lightning may indeed strike twice as they navigate the myriad challenges that come when two families merge. So Returning actresses to the franchise, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Also starring Mark Harmon. It's a stacked cast. So, what are we thinking?
50.
I feel like
Lowen.
this one has so much potential to be good, and it absolutely won't be, but it'll fall in the middle just because there's so much excitement for it. Me speaking for myself, I'm so excited about this. I don't think it's going to score super well with critics.
50.
I hope it does, but probably like 60s, 70s.
Yeah,
I'll
60s.
go 70s. I'll go 70s.
50s.
I feel like there's enough excitement for it that I don't know. That could give it a lower score than I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm
50s.
going 70s.
Okay.
This doesn't have Ice Cube and Chris Tucker in it, right?
To my knowledge, no, they are not on my list.
Make a surprise cameo.
It's the crossover no one saw coming.
Damn. Okay. Maybe a 40. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this poster?
I might have done this poster.
How could you?
I
tell?
love it.
Coming out in August 1st, is The Naked Gun. I'm not sure if they're really calling it a reboot. They're actually just calling it like the fourth in the franchise.
Okay.
But we'll see if it's actually a reboot or not. So it's actually starring Liam Neeson in the role of, what's his name?
Frank Drebin.
Yes, but who's he replacing?
Oh, Leslie Nielsen.
Nielsen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Liam Neeson is
Leslie
replacing
Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen.
Cool.
Wow.
Also starring Pamela Anderson, CCH Pounder, Busta Rhymes for some reason.
This is amazing.
Pamela Anderson?
Yeah,
This is
I said that. Yep.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So excited.
I wonder if
40.
He's just Christian's in disbelief over there. Like, just 40, damn it.
So an interesting thing, it's actually being directed by the Lonely Island's Akiva Schaffer.
Interesting.
They literally just pressed numbers on a phone, and whoever picked up was like, hey, we got a movie
I'm doing
for
the
you.
Naked
Okay. In its defense, think back to the original Naked Gun
Right.
movies had O.J. Simpson and a bunch of random people. So
Yeah, these are. Yeah, I don't know if this kind of humor, if they're still.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know how critics are gonna react to it.
if they're
Yeah.
going to stick with the type of humor that was the Naked Gun and Airplane,
I will love it.
right. But I'm saying that I
Yeah.
don't know if that humor is popular now.
It is not.
Yeah, so I mean,
I would
that-
argue humor is not popular right now.
So,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to say for the older movie goers, like me and maybe Josh's age, we'll probably appreciate it. I don't think the younger moviegoers will appreciate it as much.
Because they don't know what's good.
So I'm going to say 70s. Like, yeah.
I'm feeling the same thing. What about you guys?
60s. I'd be shocked if it scored higher than 60s. I will probably give it like a 5 out of 5. Like, unless they just completely crap the bed,
Right.
I will probably love this movie.
So the thing is about Leslie Nielsen was a very serious actor, very serious character actor. Yes, actor. And then he was cast in Airplane and then the Police Squad series, which became The Naked Gun. And he was, because of his delivery, his dry delivery, he as a serious delivery, but just a buffoon. It really worked in these movies and in the show. I don't know how Liam Neeson's going to do that. Like, he's also a serious actor.
Okay.
Switching to
The reason I think it's going to work
Yeah.
is because of his
Ted.
scene in Ted.
Yeah.
Where he's buying
Mm.
cereal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that may be
Because
why
it's the same thing.
Probably somebody saw that and like, oh,
It's
Naked
him.
Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So-
no, he does it completely like Oscar-worthy, stone-faced.
All right.
Oh.
The long-awaited sequel.
Actually, yeah.
He had a heart attack,
He did have a heart attack. You're right.
and he just
coming
took it like a
out.
man.
Coming out August 15th, Nobody 2. Starring Bob Odenkirk, Connie Nielsen, Christopher Lloyd, and Michael Ironside.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
he
Never
was
mind.
his dad.
Yeah.
Anyway, suburban dad Hutch Manziel, a former lethal assassin that's pulled back into his violent past after thwarting a home invasion, setting off a chain of events that unravel secrets about his wife Becca's past and his own.
Mm.
Seems like a
Mm.
stretch.
First one was awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of feel with this kind of movie that with this particular cast, and is it the same writer and directors?
I don't know.
Probably.
So my thought is that they wouldn't do it unless they thought that they actually had a good movie. So I'm going to put this 80.
I would say 82,
Yeah.
80s.
70.
Different director, not sure about writers.
70.
Moving into September, we have The Conjuring Last Rites. So coming out September 5th, it's the 9th and final The Conjuring film.
Sure it is.
Well, apparently they're moving into like other sub-series of it, so it's the final in the mainline series. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren take on one last terrifying case involving mysterious entities they must confront. That's the vaguest synopsis. Starring again Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga,
Sure.
Ben Hardy, Mia Tomlinson.
So they just kind of conjured up this last story.
That really was a super vague.
Yeah.
How did the other ones do?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to look at it. I was just wondering if you knew.
Now look at that.
I mean, another horror movie.
I mean, they're good horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, I know horror
say
fans like the
80s.
Conjuring
I'll
series.
say 80s.
That feels high.
You think so?
Yeah.
What would you put it at?
70s.
70s.
70s? Okay, so not much.
Without knowing what they ranked the other ones, I would say 70s.
All right, so I pulled up them on Rotten Tomatoes. The first one, an 86. The Conjuring 2, an 80. The Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It, a 56.
Ooh.
Whoa.
The other ones have not been rated, I guess. I guess they were like direct-to film or something. I'm not sure. They're not
Oof.
pulled up. So anyway,
Okay. 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this direct to video?
no.
Okay.
So what'd you say?
70s.
80s.
You're oddly generous.
I just get weird feelings about things. Oh my God.
Saw 11.
Oh.
So
Oh, I was like, what is this?
9.
It's Gladiator 700.
2000.
Stop.
Hang on.
coming out September 26th. Obviously, the 11th film in the franchise.
20.
There is no synopsis yet, but
Do you need one?
I'm assuming people are going to
We
die.
got some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to saw it.
60s.
Yeah, the other horror film.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah, 60s. 50s or 60s. Die.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like you've been
So we're saying
working on
60s?
it. 60s.
60s?
Christian, I'm assuming you've seen the entire franchise.
I've seen the entire franchise.
Yeah.
So we're 60s.
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 All right. So coming out. Hate them. Well, let's get all mixed up. September 26th. It is a Bride of Frankenstein adaptation. In 1930s Chicago, Frankenstein asked Dr. How do you say it? Euphroneous? I don't know.
Sure.
To help create a companion, they give life to a murdered woman as the bride, sparking romance. Stars Christian Bale, Penelope Cruz, Peter Sarsgaard, and Jesse Buckley. Plus, not one but two Gyllenhaals are involved. Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing, and Jake Gyllenhaal is in a supporting role.
Interesting.
Actually, Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing, according to this.
Yeah, director by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
I'll be honest, I didn't hear anything about that synopsis because I was like, director by.
So this one got on my list because of the Christian Bale of it all.
Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy in the back looks like he has a serious headache.
That's Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
Shout out for saying Frankenstein's
Great,
monster.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Nicely done.
Brownie
sir.
points.
Yes.
Mom would
That's
be
for
proud.
Patrick.
Where are we
Good
putting
job.
this movie?
This-
80s?
God, it could be. I could see this going either way, honestly.
Christian Bale plus a female director, 80s.
Yeah.
They're going to be scared to say it's not good. 80s. It's honest. It could be a dumpster fire and they would still be scared to say it wasn't good.
What? So 80. Are we in agreement?
Madam Web sucked.
I was about to say that. That didn't
Yeah.
happen with Madam Web. That thing was
Yeah.
trash.
All right, coming out October 17th, we have The Black Phone 2, the sequel to obviously The Black Phone, which was a surprise hit a couple years ago. The first film was a surprise hit that made $161 million on a $16 million budget.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a supernatural horror film starring Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McCraw, and Jeremy Davies.
I have no idea about this movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no
Yeah.
point of reference.
Yeah. I've never even heard about Black Phone. The first one.
Aren't
So-
most phones black?
most.
Minus Space
I'm
Gray.
not sure if I said this or not. It was a supernatural horror. So was this?
You did say that.
It's
You did.
horror film. So
Horror.
I mean, it's
Horror.
Blumhouse. Like,
Horror.
Yeah.
could have figured.
Let's say 60s.
I'm saying 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 80s.
I said 80s, yeah.
Okay, I'll put it on the 80s. All right, we have a
That's not a
biopic
movie.
film,
Oh.
Michael, coming out October 3rd. A Michael Jackson biopic, obviously. The film follows Jackson's life and career from his time with the Jackson 5 as a child in the 1960s and 1970s to his final weeks before his death in 2009. This is directed by Antoine Fuqua, most famous for films like Training Day, Olympus Has Fallen, Equalizer franchise, etc. It's actually starring as Michael Jackson, Jafar Jackson, who is the son of Jermaine Jackson and the nephew of Michael. Also stars Coleman Domingo, Miles Teller, and Nia Long.
Why is this coming out now? Like,
Because
Well,
we've
it's
all
actually
finally
been-
accepted that he didn't do it.
Well, they've actually been trying to make a biopic for a while, but the family has kind of been against it.
that's what
They've made
That's what I thought I remembered hearing.
so many movies about Michael Jackson that are terrible.
They're unofficial biopics, though, right?
Terrible.
Are we supposed to say biopic? Have I been saying biopic wrong forever?
Biopic. Yeah.
Biopic.
I like biopic.
I feel like it's biopic. It's
It's
Biopic.
It's
biopic.
Biopic.
there's no way it's biopic.
Biopic.
I think
Yeah,
people are
it-
going to enjoy this.
That makes me upset that it's going to be like
Probably
rated
pretty
high
good. Yeah.
because they've made so many about Michael Jackson.
We've got to have
And-
one good one in there somewhere.
It has to be one.
I didn't even know that they've made any.
Oh yeah, like
So I didn't know that.
VH1, BT. I think one of those random channels had one. They've been all terrible.
I would love to see, like, I guess if his nephew looks enough like him,
Oh
do it.
yeah, he for sure does.
and then have The Weeknd do the singing, because I think he could nail Michael Jackson singing. I have that.
Yeah.
Like I've listened to him, and I'm like, oh, he could do some covers of Michael Jackson. It'd be great.
I've thought that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 80s.
Yeah. 80s. Yeah. Sorry.
Coming out October 24th, we have Mortal Kombat 2, the follow-up to the film that came out in 2021, the smash surprise hit. It stars returning cast members Louis Tan, Jessica McNamee, a bunch of other people. We also have new members, including Carl Urban,
Oh yeah.
Adeline
yeah.
Rand Rudolph, a bunch of people. So, the first film, surprise hit. A lot of people didn't like it, but Josh and I watched it, loved the crap out of it.
It was great.
What are we thinking? What are we thinking here?
I just hated that how what's his name? The laser eye. What's his name? Kano.
Kano, yeah.
I hate how Kano got his laser eye.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Well, I mean, that part in general was not my favorite.
No.
But
Everything else was
it's fine.
much
The
better
part
than
that I came
90s.
there for was great.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought it was pretty boring. I didn't enjoy it very much. I don't know.
This was
Like,
one of the interesting ones on Rotten Tomatoes, the original one.
the
most-
first
the
one.
worst, most
first
recent.
reboot.
Sure. The one that came out in 2021. The critics hated it. It was a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience's 85%. Big.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's about going to be the same. 55 for the critic.
60s.
60s.
I was also thinking 60s.
Because Carl Urban.
Carl Urban alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
80s. No.
He's been the butcher for too long.
Tron 3, Tron Ares, comes out October 10th. A highly sophisticated program, Ares, is sent to the digital world, or from the digital world, into the real world on a dangerous mission. The film stars Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Evan Peters, Cameron Monaghan, Jeff Bridges is returning, etc., etc.
Is Olivia Wilde returning?
Not on my list, so possibly not.
Never mind.
I'm out.
I love Tron, but it's not as good as they're hoping it is. And so the fact that they made a legacy just baffled me, and even the third one coming out baffles me even more.
So Legacy made sense because it was imagine what we could do with Tron with modern effects.
I thought it was a disservice to the first one.
Well, I didn't say it was good.
Yeah.
I just said it was an exercise in special effects.
Futility.
And that they nailed.
But
It was visually interesting. But I think that's what the entire premise was built on. I don't think anyone said, guys, I have an amazing story idea for a sequel to Tron.
Yeah.
They said, how cool would Tron look today?
Then they should have just remade it.
And that's what they did. And yeah, that's what I thought is they would have been better off actually just doing a straight up remake.
Okay. Have you seen the original Tron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give it about a 50.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
where I got it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Getting us into November, I believe. Yes, November 14th. We have Now You See Me 3. The film features returning cast members Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Isla Fisher, Lizzie Kaplan, Daniel Radcliffe, and Morgan Freeman. So, the Magic film series. Love the first two.
I'm over them. Like, I mean, they were good. They were fine.
Yeah.
I'm personally done. I feel like they've said
the
all they
second
need
one
to
was a
say.
little bit of a letdown to me compared
Well,
to
I
the
mean,
first one.
it's just how far can you stretch this concept?
Magic.
You know, like they're magical and they steal
I'm
stuff.
probably going to enjoy this as much as I enjoy a game of 52 pickup.
Would they
I feel
score the
like-
last one?
This is like the new age Oceans. I'm
I
just
guess.
thinking.
I mean, I think that's what they thought they
They're
were
still
going to
making
be.
Oceans. So
Well, that's also fun.
Oh my God.
what was the last one?
Now You See Me 2, a 34%
Feels
on Rotten
right.
Tomatoes.
Wow.
Even the audience
Yeah.
has said a 53%.
Yeah, it feels
Wow.
right. I'm going to be generous and say 50s.
I'll join you, Josh.
50s, yeah.
Wow, I did not know it was that low.
Yeah, like I know you liked these movies. I was done after the first one. It was okay.
Out of curiosity, the 2013 original film,
Probably better.
a little bit better, 51%. So,
Not great.
Half
Not
the people
great.
loved it, half the people didn't. Like, okay.
So it's a certified meh.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, November 21st, we have The Running Man, a remake of the original film from the 80s, I believe. So,
Mhm.
set in 2025, a game show called The Running Man has people chased by murderous hunters across the world to win money. So, this is an Edgar Wright film based on the Stephen King novel. It stars Glenn Powell, Katie O'Brien, Daniel Ezra, Josh Brolin, Michael Cera, William H. Macy,
Ooh.
and so on and so on. So,
80s. That's pretty stacked.
Yeah, this has the potential.
70s.
70s.
I'm going to say 80s.
I mean, right now, Glenn Powell's not missing. So,
I want to say 80s,
That's also
70s.
true.
70s.
If he has his shirt off, 80s.
coming out November 7th, we have the next Predator film, Predator Badlands. It is the 7th film in the mainline series and 9th in the overall franchise. And the only thing I know about it is that it stars Elle Fanning. So,
Interesting.
and obviously a
Predator.
Predator.
Yeah. Looks like a Zeppelin on the top right there.
But who's
Who's driving the Zeppelin?
Predator? No, who's the Predator?
Oh, I don't
Is it Bill Skarsgård?
know. I have no clue about this. I don't know.
You don't get an opinion. You didn't like the last one.
It wasn't good.
It was good.
It was not.
good. We did a review on that one, right?
Literally, the entire world disagrees with you, Jason. It was good.
Your tagline for our episode was Jason didn't like Prey.
Go find that one. I'm sure I'll link to that in the comments somewhere. When was that? Was that before video? I don't remember. If it was on video, it's
it
on
was.
YouTube. So
I
I'll
was
link to
gonna
that in the
say
comments.
it was either one of the last ones without video or one of the first ones
Yeah.
with video.
So, Predator Badlands, where are you putting it? I'm almost done.
They've never been strong for me.
Yeah, this is why you don't get to vote.
okay.
So
I'm gonna say 60.
No, he averages us out. He gets us there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So-
say 80s.
All right, Zootopia 2. I cannot wait for this film coming out
Yeah.
November 26th. Detectives Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde must go undercover in Marsh Market to crack the case when they find themselves on the twisting trail of mysterious reptile. So it returns, starring returning actresses and actors Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman,
Nice.
reprising their roles as Judy and Nick, joined by Kihei Kwan and Fortune Feimster.
Okay.
Wait. What's
So-
this over here?
Yet
What is this, Christian? What are you doing?
doing.
Oh, these are sloth.
Oh.
70s.
I was like, what?
I was like, man, he's really got something to say. Sloth.
So Christian says 70s.
Also, it's Fortune Feimster.
Sure, thank you. So the original film, a 98%,
As it deserves.
a 92%
Great movie.
audience. So
A movie I've seen.
Josh, what's the matter?
It's gonna be in the 80s. Can we quit pretending like Kihei Kwan is like an amazing actor?
aw.
He's fine. It's no big deal. He was in one movie that was okay. And other than that, he's just short round.
It won like
I
every
just-
Oscar. Like, how was it?
Did he
okay?
win an Oscar?
Yes.
Did he really?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Not deserved.
Wow.
I'm sorry. He was
Wow.
fine. It was fine. Like I just don't understand this like sudden fascination with Kihei Kwan. He's
He's
fine.
short round.
Yeah, and that's where he peaked.
As a
So I'm
child.
putting this in the 90s.
80s.
90s.
90s.
I'm just tired of people being like, "Oh, but Kihei Kwan is in it." It's just like, who gives
Well,
a two?
besides him, 90s.
That's not what we're talking about
Yeah.
here.
80s. It's a sequel. 80s.
Yeah.
90s. It'll be a good sequel.
Ooh, okay.
They're
okay.
never as good as the first
So
one.
I had multiple people saying 90s, so I'm getting it right there.
80s.
I wish Nick was here for this one. We all know where this is going. Wicked
90s.
90s.
I mean, like
We're
it'll
good.
factually be in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like it just
Coming
will.
November 21st. I'm not going to read the synopsis. You guys know where it goes.
Yep.
And it's all the returning actresses. So Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Peter Dinklage, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, etc., etc.
Yeah, I need another Wizard of Oz movie like I need a house on my head. I just
Boo.
okay, that was
That
a
was a
stretch.
stretch.
Okay, that was a stretch. All right, all right.
It would have been better if you hadn't botched the delivery.
Yeah,
90s.
thank you.
90s.
90s.
But yes, 90s.
90s.
Well, you say that. The first Wicked, 88%.
So 90s.
Close
Do you
to
think it's gonna be
90s.
better?
90s. Yeah, it'll be in the
Yeah.
90s.
Okay.
Especially now that it's blown up, they'll be scared to say it's not good.
Sure. All right. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 coming out December 5th. Anyone can survive 5 nights this time. There will be no second chances. That's it. That's all I got.
No,
I
I was
don't know.
waiting for
I
to
got-
see if they can survive 6 nights.
I got nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no point of reference for this movie.
Same.
I didn't play the game. I didn't watch the first one.
I know it's popular to
I
a degree.
Get there was a game.
Yeah.
But still, it's
Yeah.
It's a very much a pop culture movie.
Right.
70s.
So critics won't enjoy it then, probably. So
Jason's
50s.
hit the nail on the head. The critics for the first film, Five Nights at Freddy's, that came out, I think, just last year, 32%.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
All right. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say 40s.
Sub
then.
50,
I'll
yeah.
say 40s.
50s.
The audience said 86%.
Of course they did.
Sub 50.
Yep.
Nerds.
Well,
So-
because if you went to see that movie, it's because you liked Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to look at the Five
It's a
Nights at
niche.
Freddy's
It's a niche movie.
anything and be like, oh, that looks interesting. I want to go see it unless you already know about it.
All right. We're on our last film. Do you guys know what it is?
Give us a hint.
Avatar.
Oh yeah.
Nailed it.
Good
It's
job.
Look at
Avatar,
you go.
Fire and Ash. So this one's scheduled for December
red.
December 19th, starring all the returning people. So Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, CCH Pounder, there she goes again, a bunch of other people. So obviously the last two have been box office
Smash.
smashes. So what are we thinking about this one, critics-wise?
I'd say 80.
Yeah, 80s.
80.
Yeah.
It'll be universally loved, but it won't be like an amazing movie.
I really wasn't a fan of the first one.
It was
It was okay.
So for reference, the last one, Avatar: The Way of Water, which we did a review on, which also might have been before a video. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I'll link to it below. 76% critics, 92% audience. So
That one had a
critics-
video.
It
Didn't
might.
it?
I don't know. I don't know.
It was
a couple
around
years
the
ago, so probably
transition.
not.
Yeah.
So anyway, not all the way up there. 76%.
Hmm.
70s.
I still say 80s.
Okay.
This is number 3.
It is. 'Tis.
80s.
Out of 5.
I'm going to go to 80s. I think he bumped it down to 4.
I did. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Earth is be next.
All right. Wow.
All right. So this is our final list. So I'm not going to read all of these. Obviously, there's
How
50 of
does
them.
50 things?
But in our top tier, the 90 to 100 range, we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. We have Ballerina from the John Wick universe. We have Zootopia 2, and we have Wicked for Good.
And those are the 4 movies I will see this year.
Yeah. And then in the bottom tier, so in below 50s, we have what's his name? Robert De Niro Alternates movie. We have the Snow White live action adaptation. We have the Minecraft movie. We have the next Final Destination movie, Smurfs, Tron 3, and Five Nights at Freddy's. So actually, it's a surprisingly good mix of films there. I think we did.
Yeah, we were actually way more even than I thought we were going to be.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. This was fun.
Yeah.
I like predicting stuff on things I don't know anything
Just
about.
blind predictions.
Right?
Yeah.
How fun.
It's as American as it gets.
Right.
I'm going to have strong opinions on things I know nothing about.
I'm going to be pissed off when I was wrong.
Speaking of that,
everybody else was wrong.
according to the Oxford English Dictionary,
Yeah.
biopic is the UK pronunciation of the American term biopic, which
Slammed.
is short for biographical picture.
Slammed.
Biopic.
If you notice, I didn't say anything during that whole thing. It's because I agree with you. We're in this.
So does the
now.
dictionary. So
I have never heard
American
I have
Dictionary.
never heard biopic.
we literally
Ever.
coined biopic. It's
I've
our
heard
term.
biopic all the time. I've heard it.
I guess you listen to a lot of British people.
I
There's a
would
lot of
say-
English directors.
I feel like the biopic sounds sillier.
It's literally
and
an
sounds like it shouldn't be.
It's an abbreviated amalgamation.
Yeah, I know what it means. I know what it stands for.
Can I
I
wrap this up?
get that.
Can I wrap this up?
Sorry.
All right.
It's biopic.
All right.
Let us know in the comments whether you think it's biopic or something stupid.
So with this episode out of the
America.
way, come back at the end of the year. I'm sure we'll be looking at this to see how we did after all these movies have come out. We're not going to watch all of them, but we're going to see what the critics said about them. So
We're still going to score them.
All of that said, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already, youtube.com/@EatSleepNerd. If you're listening over on podcast, make sure you hop on over to YouTube. Leave a like on this video. Leave some comments. Let us know if you think we're full of crap. And share us with your friends and family. That support goes a long way into helping us. Any final thoughts?
Biopic.
What if we did watch all of them? It's only 50.
It's only 50.
only 50.
My thoughts is that we just crossed the 300 mark in the last month of subscribers.
Keep it going.
And keep it going. Let's get up to 350. If
Show it to
you've
your
not
gram.
shared- share us around. Have your friends, families join and subscribe.
Heck yeah.
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 Okay.
Have fun watching some movies this year. Take it easy, people.